Hello everyone, my name is Slav, SK Photo Art and hand-painted backdrops. I have two businesses wearing two hats, as a photographer and as a hand-painted backdrop too. And today we will be talking about the AI. So that is important to me as a photographer and also as a hand-painted backdrops painter and artist. So today we have Fabrizia Costa, which will help us discuss about the AI and what the impact we're getting of this beast, which is keep growing, and we will see if we need to fear of it and what we can do to minimize impact on our business. And Fabrizia is a talented photographer, and also she's doubled as a business owner, and she's helping also growing the businesses for photographers. So she know quite a bit, and she's been doing this from 2016 and teaching aspiring photographers and growing their businesses. So hopefully she will shine a bit of light on this AI situation. And please welcome Fabrizia. Hi Fabrizia, how are you?
Hi, Slavomir. It's really good to be here. And yes, we wear different hats and we are impacted in different ways. And I know a lot of photographers are worried now about AI coming into the picture so quickly as well, not just so impactfully, but so quickly. And so I really think that it's helpful to just go over things and get a good perspective on everything, because otherwise it's easy to get scared. Some people are scared. Some people are scared of losing their business. Some people are saying this is the last generation of photographers that are going to be able to make a living out of it. There's a lot of very sort of depressing posts on social media as well, and comments, and it's right. It's a big thing. It's a big change, and it is bigger than even the digital revolution that we had at the beginning of 20 years ago, about that time. That was marked as a very big turning point in photography, and it was. And so I think it's important that we get a perspective on it, and so that's why I like to talk about it, and that's why we're here. My job is to help photographers grow their businesses, like you say. I've been doing this for quite a while. I've worked with hundreds of people, and I work with quite a lot of people on a regular basis. So maybe you and I, because we work with so many other photographers, we have a broader sort of vision, a little bit, of what can happen and what can be done. And from a business point of view, maybe you are more on the creative point of view, of course. Yeah. I focus on the business, and although I obviously look at the creative side as well. But I'm focusing on the business. There are some things that I think are very important for people to hear and to think about, and to think about now that this is not going away. It's not going to get better by itself. It's not going to sort itself out. As business owners, we will have to make decisions based on what we want to do and what we want our business to be like, and how we're going to handle this. So I think the time to make decisions is now, and the more we can explain and talk and discuss this, the better. So I really thank you for this opportunity to come on this live. And if anybody who's following has questions, just write them in the comments somewhere.
Yeah, it's a comment section here, so you can write, and it's also I will post the link where you can allow people allow us to see who you are. So if you click on this link, you will be able to allow Facebook to show your name. Otherwise, we will no idea who you are if you're from Facebook. If you're from YouTube, it's probably showing anyway. So yeah, if you have any questions, please do.
And if you're there, say hi. We'd like to see where you're from or where you're following from, because we're from so many different countries. I work with Italians. Slavomir is in England, but he works with all sorts of different countries.
I've been supplying now up to 23 countries. I've been counting
amazing.
that.
Yeah. So anyway, we know photographers are scared at the moment about how this is could be impacting their work. I think illustrators, video game designers, those people are the ones who should be more scared than photographers at the moment. But there is definitely a big a big change coming in the way images are produced and the way things are perceived by the clients, which is the most important thing, because it's one thing what we can do and we cannot do, and it's another thing what the client perceives. And we can go back to the way during the years, the more sort of available filters and things and quick fixes have been available on our clients' phones, and the more they say, oh, but you can just Photoshop that, can't you? Can you take 10 kilos off of me or something? It just become normal, something that 20 years ago was unthinkable, right? And so clients come to expect certain things, and that's going to influence, or can influence, if you let it, the way you offer, you what you offer and how you work. And now with this, it's like they could come to expect all kinds of things, that may not be so easy to do. So how are we going to navigate this? And the other thing is they can do their own stuff. Everybody can go on Midjourney and make their own images, or they can learn how to do this and that and the other. Now, for photographers, there's some good things and there's some not so good things. And so to understand how to use AI to make our job easier is really important. And then to also understand how we're going to give it not too much space or a lot of space, depending on how we want to do this, is also really important. So the good things about it are, first of all, we already have had AI for, I don't know, a number of years in Lightroom and Photoshop and Neo and in a lot of other software for editing. So we've had that. We've had AI, especially in the last year. And we've had, and now the last updates are absolutely incredible, because they can generate images as well as fix backgrounds or lighten and darken and select things. And the other thing is we've had AI now for quite a long time. I think I started last year for editing and culling. So things like Aftershoot and Imagen AI and other services that have made post-production really simple, affordable. The costs have gone down, obviously, for us to get our post-production done. And we get a really nice product, so we have to take advantage of this, because why slog away for hours and hours when we can delegate to our little AI bot that's going to take care of our post-production, at least the basic stuff. And I always say, even before this was happening, I always encourage people to delegate the stuff that anybody can do, because my time is better spent, and anybody's time is better spent on growing their business than slugging away trying to fix a white balance that anyone else can do. So all of that basic stuff can be done. And now with AI, it can be done very much quicker, much cheaper, and much more effectively. So that is excellent. There are things like, depending on the type of photography that you're in, that can be very helpful. So making mood boards, for instance, if you're a fashion photographer, instead of having to get images off the internet and trying to create mood boards in just by putting things together or drawing things yourself, then now you can create some mood boards for fashion shoots and advertising and all that sort of stuff. And it is a lot quicker, and there's a lot of fashion photographers that are using it for that. The not so good bit is if you are doing a type of photography that has relied heavily on Photoshop to create fantasy things, composites, or just really if you've used like digital backdrops a lot, and then photoshopped a lot of things in. Of course, now that can be done with AI a lot quicker and a lot faster, and it's good in a way, but it also made this kind of thing a lot less valuable. So we're always trying to understand, and do ask me questions, Slavomir, and interrupt me if you think of something or different genres.
No, I don't want you're talking so fluently. I don't want to interrupt you, and break your mind, So I just listen to this.
That's okay. I'm just trying to follow a thing and try to think of all different kind of niches, because of course photography, I specialize in portraits. I used to do weddings. I do documentary and street stuff. I did documentary portraits, and family photography and that sort of thing. So if you are in that sort of world, like weddings, documentary, real life stuff on location, in your clients' homes or whatever, of course you're much more protected, if we want to call it that way, because that stuff's never going to change. And to me, the reason why I never wanted a studio, I had a studio many years ago, but then I decided to not have a studio when I started doing portraits, was because the place where I photograph my clients is as important as something's happened to the picture, but I hope you can still hear me. Okay. It's as important as the clothes they wear, and the sort of, to me, the environment is really important. So whether it's their home or part of the city they live in or a place they love, that is part of it. So that is the sort of thing that AI can never recreate. And the experience that we give our clients, that is the sort of thing that AI cannot recreate. So if you are, I've always said, and this is, I think, the key thing to the whole talk, is we don't sell photographs. We do not sell photography. We have to sell an experience. And the photograph is the end result of that time spent with us. And if you set up your business like that, if that's the way you work, then AI can just help you. And it's not going to take away anything. Whether you decide to use it or not to generate something in your images, that is up to you. And we're going to talk about how to do it and why, and the pros and cons of it, and how to fit it into your brand. Basically what you need to really think about. But the experience, what happens to the client when they are sitting in front of us and they spend this time with us, they're getting ready for it and coming to us and having that time with us, that can never be replicated. That is not something that you can AI out of thin air. So, and that is what people buy. That is what people should buy. And that is what changes them. When I was at SWPP in March, I brought a masterclass called The Psychology of Portrait Photography. And I told a few stories of what happens to clients when they get photographed and how much that can have an impact on their lives. So a lot of portrait photographers know that some, not every single shoot we do, but some of the shoots we do, a lot or a little, they have an impact on the people that get photographed for 1,000 million reasons. And so all of that stuff is not the picture. And the service that we give people, the pampering, maybe if it's a beauty shoot or a boudoir shoot, or the fun they can have doing it if it's a family shoot. Just the experience of having a really amazing team of wedding photographers, a wedding photographer with a really good team coming to your wedding and interacting in the perfect way with your guests and just producing the most incredible images of your big day. All of those things cannot, be touched in any way. What can be touched is if you are operating at the very low end of the business, and that is something that is a shaky ground and has been on shaky ground for a long time and has been very much impacted by COVID as well. Because after COVID, people had already done this, and this is not just in photography, but the market had already begun to change before COVID, whereby people started to either want quality or a cheap price. So the middle market was suffering a lot. So just to give you an example, the little shop on the corner that would sell sort of normal food, either it drops the prices and becomes a very sort of convenience store, it's a Tesco Express, or turns into a little supermarket with low prices, or it becomes like the deli cheese shop that has higher prices, better quality stuff, and then it can thrive. Anything in between has a really hard time and has had a really hard time surviving. And this is, a good example of a lot of the middle market in many, many areas of things. So if you're selling, like now, your wife is doing this new business of selling these gorgeous, amazing candles, which are just fantastic. And so, you don't want to do a middle of the way thing. You want to do something. People really want something very nice and very special. They're going to buy a candle that is a nice product. Otherwise, they'll go and just buy the cheapest thing from Poundland because they don't care about the candle. The in-between is hard to push. And so in photography is about the same thing. And with COVID, people realized that it was a big boost, especially for photographers that work with private people, not commercial people so much, but with private. So again, portraits, weddings, babies, all that sort of thing. Because people realized how important relationships are and photography is so important. And so they stopped worrying so much about, they realized a good picture with your grandma is more important than designer shoes. And so I think photography, this kind of photography has had a boost after COVID. But now, the thing that will sell you photography is the experience that you give to your clients. And so the idea to what is going to fit with your brand. I'll give you some examples. There are going to be shopping mall type things where you go in and you have a picture taken against a green backdrop, and then AI will make a picture of you with, dressed as a princess in a fairy castle with a dragon or whatever, or a prince or whatever you like. So you can have not just a fake backdrop, which you could do even before, but you could have a fake everything, right? And your picture is there and you're smiling, and then the whole thing is made up. Now that is a fun thing, it's a fun, and there's going to be loads of those springing up, I'm sure. It is a fun thing. Like, we had fun things like printing photos on cups and cushions and mugs, things like that. It's not an expensive thing. It's never going to command a lot of money. It's never going to be something that people are willing to pay a lot of money for. It's it's a fun thing that you want to spend maybe 10 or 20 quid on, but you're not going to spend hundreds of pounds on something like that.
It's still a good business model, isn't it?
You what?
It's still a good business model if you own
And that's
thousands of those, isn't it?
Exactly. But that is a low, it's a low quality, high quantity.
Yeah.
So we're talking, like I said, the Tesco Express, or the supermarket model or something like that. So you want many, many people coming through your door every day, very quick, not much money in and out, right? That is a perfect business model, and that's possible. The other business model that works is the boutique, the cheese deli type shop, right? Which is what most photographers prefer to do. So to have something very customized and to look after your client and to give them a very nice experience and to be able to charge a lot of money for that. So which doesn't mean you're not, you can't use AI in that, but a client will not want a picture that is totally fake on their wall if they have to pay £1,000 for it. They'll probably want the real thing, right? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but if I spend a lot of money on something to put on my wall, it's going to be a good picture of myself, not a sort of fairy tale, sort of made up, fantasized picture of myself most of the time.
Talking about the value, I think backdrops, what I'm painting now, they're becoming even more valuable because of AI.
Yes, exactly. So
because they are real. They're something
exactly.
what I'm producing and
that's what I was saying about the brand. Okay, so there are going to be brands. There are brands already that have put, like Levi's did this whole thing about putting fake AI models on their website. But there's also brands that are going to really take a distance from it and make it like it used to be, made in Italy. It's going to be made by humans. It's going to be like, we do not use AI. In my brand of photography, that is my stance, because my shoots are experience-based. They're very intense, they're long, and they're very expensive. And their destination, and they're a whole shebang about them. And so there's no way, it doesn't fit my brand to put AI into it. I use it to edit, I use it to do all of that other stuff behind the scenes, but I certainly will make a point in my marketing to say, I am not using AI in my photography. And a lot of people are doing that on Fiverr and Upwork, because AI, one of the first things that AI impacted with ChatGPT has been copywriters, of course. And on Upwork, there are copywriters that, and we're not just talking on people doing little money on the side. There are copywriters on Upwork that make $2 million a year. They work for major brands, and they are big people, right? And so, all of that work is coming into question, and ChatGPT can really replace a lot of copywriting jobs. Also, a lot of copywriters on Upwork and Fiverr use ChatGPT to produce their, blogs and whatever else they make for clients. And already a month ago, they started getting job offers on both of these platforms with companies saying, if you use ChatGPT, we're not going to pay you, because there are ways to run it through, I think it's called origin.com, or there's a couple of
It's a
places
few
you
of, it's
can
a
run
few of
text.
them you can detect, but they still don't work properly. Somebody, I read somebody put the American Constitution, and it says 95% of AI
Yeah, that's
write
yeah.
on text. So
Well, they still don't work properly, but give it a few days. This is so quick.
yeah,
They will work properly very soon. So, but anyway, already companies are saying we don't want people to use it. We want to take a distance from it. Mainly because if you write a blog with ChatGPT, my my competition 2 weeks down the line will come out with the same blog, because it's done by a bot that's going to spew it out somewhere else for another client. So there's going to be a lot of, and that's why I think that we need to think about it now, and we need to make decisions about our business now. Like, where do we stand on it? I know photographers who have integrated it really well, or are integrating it really well in their work, especially architecture photographers, interior design, interiors, and people who do a lot of location photography. So they, even before, they were doing like 360-degree things, and now they can be enhanced by AI. And so in some of the more commercial technical things, it can be a really good help and a really good boost. In some other areas, it may be important to say, I don't use it, and I make that part of my brand, because whatever we do, it's not wrong. And also, what I really want to point out is that if you are techie and you really enjoy playing with it, and you want to learn it and get good at it, and if you really are into it, then by all means get into it. Do whatever you want, and play with it and see how it can be integrated in your business. But if you are not like me, I played with it. I was one of the first people to sign up for DALI. I think it was the 22nd of July of last year, with the day after it came out. I had it. I played with it for a while. I moved home a week later, so I didn't even have much time. But anyway, but I played with it for a while. I then left it, and then I played with it again. I realized that I'm not finding it any fun. I don't care about it. I don't care about the learning curve needed to use any of, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, which is better, all of that. There is going to be another professional body of people that's going to emerge from this. And like one photographer, a good friend of mine, I did a live one similar to this last week in Italian. He does a lot of these architectural things and uses it a lot, and he's very good, and he's teaching people how to use it. And great. If I need something, I'll tell him to do it. He'll do it way better than me. And there's going to be like very good people who are going to be excellent at using AI to generate imagery or to change things or do something. And I don't need to learn it, because that's not my passion. That is not my passion. And I want to really stress this point, because I hear a lot of photographers who are almost getting anxious, like, oh my God, this is something I have to learn or I'm going to be left behind. And that's not the case at all, because I can let someone else learn it for me and then tell them, I need this and I need that, and get it done. I spent the whole of my digital career without having to learn Photoshop, because I love Lightroom. I'm a wizard at Lightroom. And I used Photoshop to clone out bins maybe 2 or 3 times in my life. I've opened it up to do that. And the rest of the time, if there was anything that needed to be done, which happened very rarely, I would farm it out to somebody who could do it better than me, because I just did not care to learn it. I don't like it. Now I actually find it more fun, because you can do things with it that are easier. And so the other day
easy to learn.
I was cutting out a couple of people and because we wanted a different backdrop. So we write for a banner for a podcast I'm doing, and so that was quite fun. Certainly easier than it used to be. So if it's easy, I'll probably learn it. But otherwise, I have no intention of putting in 10,000 hours to become a master of stable diffusion or any of those things. And there will be incredible, talented people to do that sort of thing. So again, I like to stress this, quite a bit. Not everybody is going to love using it. Not everybody is going to feel like, oh, this is my thing. We love photography. We don't like, not necessarily like to become, little nerds playing around with AI stuff. So if you don't, you're okay, right? That's my message. If you don't, you'll be okay, because you can wait a minute until some people learn it properly, and then there will be Fiverr and Upwork people that do wonderful AI, or even photographers.
I have slightly different opinion on that.
Yeah.
I think we all need to at least immerse ourselves into the AI world and learn it how is actually works, like you did as well, like you did with Dali, isn't it? And we need to learn about it, because it will go more and deeper in our life.
Yeah.
So that will help us to understand and cope with it, first of all. The second of all, if you will be asking the professional to do something, it's better if you know what you actually want.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And when you
absolutely. But
learn
I
it
think,
yourself, it's easier to ask professional how to do it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I think that would also come, as an education. You don't have to do it. I don't have to understand. Like, I use Chat GPT, obviously, for writing stuff and things. It never comes out right, but it's good to get bits and bobs, and then I put them together, and I use my own voice, so I reskin it at the end. But the idea to have these things that can help us is, yeah, very helpful. I think the AI in Photoshop is going to be amazing for a lot of people, and that's going to be incredibly helpful in Lightroom as well, and whatever other software you use.
Well, I think also AI it's in our cameras, and it's detecting the eyes nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, but we've
Yeah,
had
and
it
we're all
for,
enjoying this.
yeah, we've had it forever. So people
Yeah,
say, "Oh, I don't want to use AI." I mean, forget it. Unless you go and shoot film, you're
yeah.
using. um, but um, but what I mean is, um, if I see other people's work with AI, I understand what can be done, what can be done, what I like, what I don't like, and how I can ask people to change something. If I want to do it myself because I want to experiment and play around with it and have fun with it, and take it to some other level for myself, that is absolutely fun and fine if it's fun. But what I want to say is, if you like me and you can't be bothered, and I'd rather watch a movie than spend 2 hours on AI, go watch the movie, because I learn a lot from movies. Most of my photography comes from movies and fashion. So I spend my time watching movies and watching and reading magazines and books. And and that's how I grow my own, creativity. And we're all different. We can't all get into the same stuff, and people get inspired by different things. And so I want to reassure photographers that they can still run a photography business if they don't want to use it. But it needs to be a very thought out process. It's not like, well, I can't be bothered. I'm joking about saying I can't be bothered, but yeah. But I have looked into it and I've made a decision for my business. So it can't be just like, oh God, I don't know what to do, and therefore I'm not going to do anything. you do need to make a decision, and that will become part of your brand. And if you want to, there will be brands, there will be fashion brands, there will be, all kinds of big brands that are going to say, we are not using AI generated images, and they're going to be putting it out on their advertising and things, because that is part of the brand. We're not, they're going to take a distance with it. And when everybody's using AI, it's going to be, I think, in the first year or two, and I'm just calling it a very short time because it goes so quickly. So it could be less than that. I don't know. But I mean, already I'm seeing photos or things on, you're looking at things and you're wondering, is this a real picture or not? And people are going to be more and more aware of, well, can I really believe anything I see? And is this real? Is it not? So regulation, really important. And that's going to come very quickly. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that needs to happen for this thing to settle. I think now it just exploded and it's everywhere, but it needs to sort of settle into something that is manageable and that is going to be a help to business and not a complete disruptor of the game. So and it will disrupt the game, and unfortunately a lot of people, I'm not saying a lot, but some people will go out of business because if they're running it like a hobby, they're not going to probably survive this. But we've had years and years and years when I'm sure you've seen a lot of photographers complaining that with digital cameras are cheap, everybody's a photographer,
Some people always complaining, and when I see the posts on the Facebook, people complaining about the AI getting on the way of their business, I always go and look on a website and what they do. And most of the time they have not very good website and not very high prices. So it's that's what we're producing. It's very easy to replicate in AI. And because AI is very widely available, it's like you said, it become cheaper and not authentic, and it's just part of the fun. So if it's like you have Polaroid camera and taking the pictures on the on the vacation, couple of those shots which probably will disappear in 2 years or so from this paper. They're just cheap, isn't it? And that's same with AI. It's very easy to replicate what they do, and we're really worrying about it. And that's most of the time the photographers was not charging enough.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was saying. The middle lower ground. If you're not running a business, if you're not giving an experience, if you're not charging enough, if you're not running a business properly, those are the people that are going to be in trouble. Those are the people that came into photography because it was easy to become a photographer. And those are the people that are going to go out. And so maybe AI will be a good shakeup in that sense, because real photographers will keep doing real photography. And they will be maybe fewer photographers, and they will be quite different from AI generators or whatever you want to call them. You just gone all nice and colorful on me.
I know my camera. I don't know what's happening. Last event as well. I've been checking everything before this event. It's charging. It's all settings right. I did not change anything. I just think probably my Fuji is overheating or something like this. It just randomly shooting off. So I probably will be disappearing. So just don't pay attention on that, guys.
I won't pay attention to you. No, it's fine. It's actually gone really well. I've never used the restraint thing before, so I'll look it up. Anyway, so it is a big revolution. There's no downplaying this. It's a big revolution. It's bigger than digital, and it's going to change a lot of things. But it is not photography. That's one thing to really remember. This is not photography. It's, they call it cinematography. It's going to have a name. It's going to be regulated. It's going to be possibly marked. We'll see. Uh, of course, there's going to be a lot of cheating and a lot of whatever fakes and things. But it, it has to be put in place somehow. Even the competitions now have to change the rules, because if you can submit AI images, what's the point? That's not a photography competition anymore. So, and this big scandal that has come out with the Sony Awards and a couple of other awards, seen it. It's very early on. So things will be.
What about AI fill now in a Photoshop? It's a Photoshop tool, but it's AI too. So if you're enhancing your image with this new tool, which is beta still, but it will become better and better. So if you're enhancing something with this tool, so expanding the background or something like this, how the judges will look on that, because that's the Photoshop tool, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah, you could expand backgrounds and things before. You just had to do it by hand.
Yeah, this kind
Not
of
in the same way.
expanding differently, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
it's building up some more. So if you're expanding forest, you can build forest, part of the forest with some maybe even small house or something like this, or river. Is a bit more.
I think they will have to, set some rule in place. I'm not a judge at competitions, but of course, if it's a photography competition, there will have to be some rules in place for that sort of thing. Otherwise, it becomes a competition for illustrators, which is fair enough, but it's not photography.
I
So
think
maybe
it will
there
be.
will
I
be.
think it will be the another branch of the competitions for AI, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there could. Yeah, absolutely, there could be. Absolutely. So I think, like they had creative in the creative photography. You could do composites, you could make a lot of stuff up, But for instance, in creative photography, you had to prove that all of the parts of the
Yeah.
picture were yours. So if you made like a landscape with balloons and fairies and flying animals, whatever, you would have to photograph all of these things and then put them together in a picture.
Yeah.
And you had to prove that they were all your copyrighted pictures. Now, if you generate the house and the river in that picture, like you telling
Yeah.
me, that house and that river weren't there. AI has to take them from somewhere, and they're not yours. You can't prove it. So there were rules, and I think there will be other rules, but something will have to be. And if it's a portrait, it'll have to be like, submit a file if you win,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm surprised on the Sony Award. I surprised how judges overlooked this AI image, because it's been it, you can tell this AI. I think
Absolutely,
even hands and
absolutely.
stuff like
It's
this.
it's unbelievable. And anyway, I have my own opinion about a lot of the competitions, but it's like it's so random the way
You
they're.
have opinion on everything.
But when I saw it, I thought this doesn't look real. The
Mm.
hand was odd. All kinds of things were odd about it. But maybe because it didn't look real, they thought it was so amazing. I
Maybe.
don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, so yeah, I think this is where we're at. We had I just wrote down a couple of things, but
Guys, if you have any questions, please put in the chat, and we'll try to answer.
it's I think the two main things to take away are, one, it's good and bad, so it's not all bad. Two, we are not. We don't have to feel like if we don't get on board and learn how to use it immediately and spend hours and hours and hours trying to figure it out, we're going to be left behind as photographers, because that's not true. If it's not our vibe, you can, and this is also because this goes beyond AI. I think in photography, in any business, if what you do is not what makes your heart sing, you're not going to be successful and it's not going to sell. The reason why you're so successful at doing what you do is because you absolutely love what you do and you just really enjoy it. You have you just want to paint backdrops, you love them. And so it's hard. I'm not saying you love every bit of it, because business is hard, but it's something you like to do. It's not something you hate to do or that you find incredibly boring. So otherwise you just wouldn't have the energy, to really push it the way you've done it so amazingly well in the past few years. So I think what comes through our work is our love for what we do and our passion. So, and this I always say for photographers, even when they are starting or even when they are already working. I've had photographers who worked for years and were very successful at what they did and had, clients and things, and they were just trying to get up to the next level. And you go like, and they go like, oh, I love doing maternity, but I really don't like doing newborns. But I have to do them because if you do maternity, you have to do newborns. And I say, no, you don't. Drop it. Just drop it. And of course, if somebody asks you, you can do it. But drop it off your website. Just drop it, do what you love to do. And they went on to be amazing maternity photographers, and they don't hardly ever do newborns anymore because it's what you love to do. And what you don't love to do will hold you back. It's not because there is a market for it, you're going to offer it. That's the way not to go about it. Of course, there needs to be a market for what you offer, but you need to offer what you love to do. So there's two sides to this thing. And then like you're 80% of the way there,
It's also, I think, people asking for what they see. So if you are a maternity photographer and you're showing only maternity photographer, probably nobody will ask you and nobody will even think to give the newborn baby for the photographer who never done newborn shoot, never have on the website and never have on the social media. They will not trust your small little baby for the photographer which never been doing something like this.
Yeah.
So,
but even if they if they know that you've done newborns for a long time, there'll be less
will ask,
there'll be less requests for it. And so you can really look at, and that's probably one of the first things I say. Let's go through what you do and see where you're strong and where you're not strong. And usually when you're not so strong are the things you like to do the least. And the things where you're strong are the things you like to do most. So, and then sometimes they're strong on things they wouldn't believe they're strong in, but that's a whole other story, and that's why you need a coach to tell you. But anyway, but yeah, so we need to make a decision, have some good perspective on this, wait to see what happens, obviously, but not be scared, not be pushed into it or out of it, look into it, make decisions for our brand, because that is the most important thing. Give our clients all the colors of the rainbow like you do. Give our clients the best experience possible. Push our business up always. Or go into a shopping mall and open up a whole other thing. That's another whole story that you can play with.
Yeah, you need thousands of those,
Yeah,
to
there'll
make
be
it work.
loads of those. So that's another business model, and it's totally fine, but it's not what I teach. So I
would probably
I think
not
most
want to go
photographers
that
like
route.
to do what we do.
I would probably don't want to go that route anyway, because to manage those all those 1,000 moles, it would be hard, isn't it?
Yeah, this, yeah, anyway. So hold on, I'm just
Yeah,
turning.
if not any questions, guys, I will have a look just in case, maybe something um, on Facebook, if anything. I don't see any questions. So, what do you think? Shall we wrap up? My camera say I'm overheated. So,
Okay. Before you
yeah,
blow up.
yeah. Before it blow up, yeah, I want to
Yeah,
say
no,
thank you very
this
much
is
for
really good. I
everyone.
think any
Yeah,
opportunity to talk about it and to reassure people about it and to be positive about it, you know, is a good opportunity. I don't think people talk about it enough or say enough things about it. I see a lot of posts, but not a lot of positive sort of uh, analysis of what's going on. And so I think this was, a really good opportunity to spell it all out. And I hope that whoever's watching, well, put your comments in the bottom and we'll see them later if you have any questions. And
of
I hope
course.
whoever is watching has been either it's found it helpful.
How they can contact you if they want to speak to you, maybe about your business or what you do? Maybe they interesting in your coaching or something like this, or just ask the question.
Yeah, fabriziacosta.com has that's where they find my coaching. You can send me an email. I'm on Facebook. I also have a mentoring, like a free mentoring hub that people can access and get things in there, so they can sign up for that. Yeah, get in touch. I'm a very sort of personable person. I don't have these big anonymous sort of funnels where you just you can sign up for emails, but um it's more like I like to get to know people. So
Yeah,
get in touch. Yeah.
I will now I will put on my website banner generated by human.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
guys, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for attending, and for those who will be watching the recording after that, comment. We will try to answer all your questions and tell us what you think about the AI. And once more, thank you very much for being here, and we will see you on the next live.
Yes.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye. Thank you.